You're listening to Big World Network.
Amazing Grace, Episode 1. Written by James Hellvig, read by Meagan Hedin. Ending the conversation, Tammy closes her eyes, breathing deeply to calm her rampaging thoughts. Anna's safe. Dale's moving them as a precaution, but if he's right and this is a probe to gauge capabilities, damn! Searching Mother Steele's small apartment has revealed the appointment book. The business in question is real, but the owner is verifiably on vacation. Mac is using the full force of his department to access surveillance video from the neighborhood in an effort to track down Mother Steele's movements. His request is taking far too long. We've been scrutinized. Most likely we're still being watched. I need to find out how and by whom. Moving briskly back to the makeshift command center in Father Bernard's office, Tammy gently pulls the worried priest to one side of the chaotic space. Leaning in and lowering her voice, she asks, "Father, do you think you could retrieve the package I gave you from your safe?" Raising an eyebrow, he nods and steps off to complete the task. Watching as Father Bernard moves across the room, Tammy catches Max impatient motioning for her to come over. Mac's voice is a sharp bark as he snaps at the bureaucrat on the other end of his connection. "I don't give a shit. You get it done, and you get it done now." Anger and worry scrunch his face into a deeply lined scowl. Turning his attention to Tammy, he asks, "Anything on your end?" Shaking her head, she replies, "I've got some feelers out. Have we found Hector or Raphael?" Max stands patting his pockets, looking for his cigarettes. Shaking one out from a rumpled package, he takes Tammy's arm, steering them towards the exit. He grumbles, "No, I can't figure it. What would two gangbangers want with a nun?" Unlit smoke dangling from his mouth, he continues, "And where in the hell did they disappear to?" Shouldering their way down the hall to the rear entrance, Mac pushes the door open and stomps into the cold evening air. Lighting up and drawing in smoke deeply, he exhales with a sigh. Repressing the old urges, Tammy tells him, "Those things will kill you. I think maybe this is about me." Mac draws hard on the cigarette, the gleaming cherry casting his face in an eerie glow. Scrutinizing Tammy, he blows smoke harshly at his feet. Holding the butt at eye level, he replies, "Payback? The thought occurred to me, but why take this risk? It'd be a lot easier to just kill someone close to you." Nodding, Tammy steps upwind of the smoke stench, grimacing. "I'm starting to believe there's more than gang stuff going on here. Someone is trying to get a feel for the opposition, and they think I'm part of it." Max starts to reply, and Tammy puts a finger to her lips with a tiny shake of her head. Canting his head slightly and raising an eyebrow, he answers slowly, "You think?" Scowling deeper and flicking the butt away, Mac turns a full circle, scanning the surrounding buildings while rolling his shoulders and stretching his neck. Facing Tammy once more, he huffs, "Shit." The door opens and Father Bernard joins them, handing Tammy a dark, oversized briefcase. Squeezing his shoulder and kissing his cheek, Tammy accepts the case, calmed by the comforting weight. "I'll be in touch," she tells Father Bernard, ignoring the glaring police commander. Motioning with her head and eyes for Mac to follow, Tammy walks briskly to the front of the building, heading towards her parked vehicle. Mac's muttering and cursing as a low drone in her wake. Getting in and cranking the engine, Tammy smiles at the frustrated officer as he slams the passenger door shut. Twisting in his seat and raising both hands and his eyebrows, Mac angrily mouths, "What?" Pulling away from the curb, Tammy replies softly, "In a minute, Mac." Harumphing, Mac folds his arm across his chest and leans back in the seat, closing his eyes. When they've gone several blocks, Tammy pulls into a parking garage and, finding a spot in the lowest level, backs into the space. Exiting her car and retrieving the case, Tammy opens it. Taking a small electronic scanner and flipping it on, she performs a functions check. Satisfied, she uses the device to check both herself and Mac for listening or tracking devices. Mac is smoking silently, momentarily mollified by the display. Methodically checking her vehicle, Tammy frowns, meeting Mac's annoyed gaze. Patience fraying, Mac snaps, "Aren't you happy yet?" Rolling her eyes in response, Tammy squats, slowly lying on her side, and extends her arm under the driver's side of her Jeep. Near the gas tank, the bug sniffer warbles. Tammy spouts muffled curses from under the vehicle as she crawls further forward, moving from side to side to cover the entire undercarriage. Rolling out a bit later and grumbling as she gains her feet, she holds out the tiny blinking transmitter that had been stuck to the top of her fuel tank. Mac whistles, looking questioningly at her. It's not a listening device, but it is rather an expensive tracker. I'd be willing to bet that there are more at the church and in my apartment. It wouldn't hurt to have your department swept as well, Tammy tells him. Sighing loudly, she returns to the briefcase and removes a small tube of adhesive. Smearing some on the bottom of the device, she sticks it to the nearest support pillar. Mac asks, "Any way to tell who made that thing?" "No. It's generic and available online." "Welcome to the electronic age, Mac. It proves that we missed an element in this thing." As she returns her equipment to the case, Mac peers over her shoulder, grumbling. "I take it your toys aren't available at Radio Shack?" Snapping the lid closed, Tammy turns back to her friend, answering blandly, "Nope. Don't ask, and I won't lie. We need to clean house, quietly and quickly. Mac, come on." Getting back into the vehicle, Tammy twists the ignition, gunning the engine and drumming her fingers on the wheel, impatiently waiting for Mac to get in. As he closes the door, Tammy accelerates out of the garage, speeding back toward the church while Mac clutches the armrest and dash, white-knuckled and cursing. "Slow down, damn it," he yells. "We're still in the dark here." Stone-faced and in a voice devoid of emotion, Tammy replies, "You keep pushing. I've got some calls to make, but we don't have a lot of time." "Time for what? We haven't received any demands yet," Max snaps as Tammy takes the final corner, rocketing towards the barricaded street in front of the church. Braking hard, she brings the vehicle to a stop and turns to look at the pissed-off captain. "If I'm right, there won't be any demands, just more pieces." Looking into Tammy's cobalt-blue eyes that have no doubt turned to ice, Mac represses a shudder, whispering, "Jesus wept." Voice hard, Tammy replies, "He may before it's over. Keep your phone close." As soon as Mac has exited the vehicle, Tammy quickly turns it around and races away. Kat and Dale pore over the raw data being sent to them via the various agencies with electronic surveillance access. The group commander had authorized the priority feeds and support. Everything but shooters. Delta takes care of its own. We gotta make sure this doesn't turn to shit. Too many eyes on it now. Kat meets Dale's gaze and sees her own thoughts echoed there. Nodding at her friend and senior NCO, Kat clenches her jaw, clamping down hard on her emotions. "I'll find you, and when I do, you bastards are toast." Mother Steele slumps in the hard chair she's tied to. The pain is a constant ache in her left hand. The concrete floor is damp, and the crumbling walls smell of age and neglect. She can hear the muffled voices of the men who'd brought her here raised in argument close by. "I tell you this is bullshit. We're bait, hombre. We're going to kill her anyway. I say we do it now and get the hell out of here." Hector scowls at the irate younger man and sighs loudly before replying. "We stick to the plan. Think. 3 days and it's done. Are you really stupid enough to cross Demonis Alumno?" Spitting curses, Raphael turns and kicks the wall behind him. "I hate this shit." Their voices fade into unintelligible mutterings, and Mother Steele draws a shaky breath. Silent tears course down her face. 3 days. Well, old woman, make them the strongest days you can. For the most part, the men have been ignoring her. She has a feeling that this is all about to change.
This has been a presentation of Big World Network. Visit us on BigWorldNetwork.com for more free weekly series, or follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Thanks for listening.
You're listening to Big World Network.